Hello, and welcome to a little podcast of me just chatting away about, I guess, just my experience of World Championships. I feel like you guys have asked so many questions in the comment sections of my videos and just want to know that little bit more. So, this is what this podcast will be explaining. It'll be explaining some things a little bit more in depth and giving you a bit more of an idea of what it took to become world champion, what it means to me, and I guess really how I'm feeling and how I felt during my vacation, my couple of weeks off gymnastics, and then coming back into the gym. What are my next goals? What am I looking forward to? How am I going to get fit again? Because those couple of weeks have left me a little bit unfit, I must say. But what I done was I sent out a message to the Patreon supporters. The Patreon is pretty much a platform where I release exclusive content, release things like this, where I offer to answer those questions that are put to me from the Patreon supporters. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can join for any amount. The link will be in the description. And it's also a place where I just get to contact you guys, and I hop on there, get messages, I reply to the messages, and have great discussions with all of the Patreon supporters. So thank you to the existing Patreon supporters, but also I hope that you other guys will join that. You can scroll past from about a year ago to all of the exclusive content down that timeline on the Patreon, so it's definitely worthwhile checking out. But I hope you enjoy this podcast nonetheless. Okay, so I'll jump straight into it. Sarah Wallace has asked, "How good did the victory pizza taste?" Whew. So if you don't know this already, I when I'm preparing for competitions or I'm in competition mode or competition season, I don't eat pizza. I don't let myself eat pizza or drink alcohol. And the pizza thing, it's really not all that bad to treat yourself to a pizza every now and then. But for me, it's just that delayed gratification that I like to leave myself with. It's my favorite food, to be honest. It's my favorite junk food for sure. But when I'm in competition mode and I don't let myself eat pizza, it's me looking forward to something after all of that hard work. Of course, the success is something I definitely look forward to, but just that little small thing that I will definitely get after that competition season, all going to plan that I'm still alive in this world, I will definitely get my hands on some pizza. So the victory pizza after winning that gold medal, after winning world championships, felt so good. It tasted so good, and I would be lying if I said it was my last one. But I think I probably had about 6 pizzas in the last two weeks, I'd say. It is certainly my go-to food, and but that first one definitely tasted good, and I just had it with a little beer and everything, so it was a good celebration. And I'm gonna miss it when I go back into competition season again, but I'm certainly getting used to it. And I'm enjoying every single bite of a slice of pizza. I just like the classic pepperoni pizza as well. Maybe add some chicken on there, but other than that, I'm not nothing else really apart from pepperoni or chicken. But it was, yeah, very nice. Thank you for the question, Sarah. All right, on to the next question. Glenn has asked, "What did you find easy and hard at the Worlds? And how long did prep time take for the winning routine?" I'll start with the latter question. There's a bit of a misconception with Olympic sports in particular, because of the Olympic Games being every 4 years. The media and I guess people in general always think that we're training 4 years for an event, but it's like it the timeline of our athletic careers, of my athletic career anyway, is so much longer. Like our official Olympic preparations started when I started the sport, when I was 6 years old and I started the sport. That's when my preparations begun, and it is really difficult, of course, even with my being that young, to look at a goal that's 15 years down the line. And I think that's why I try my best to enjoy every moment in this sport, and that's why I did enjoy every moment growing up in this sport, because it's hard to work just for one goal. And I mean, technically, you are just working for one goal of going to the Olympic Games, trying to get that gold medal at the Olympics or at the World Championships, like I've done, and that is the goal at hand. But there's also these little tiny goals along the way, and enjoying achieving those tiny goals is a really key aspect to a gymnastics career. So, I guess like the beauty of gymnastics is that it comes down to that one routine. That's, my routine's just under 60 seconds, and it's a lifetime of work that goes into that 60 seconds. So I mean, that's how long the prep took for that routine. That routine is showcasing the amount of work that I've done throughout the years, and all of those little things that I even done back when I was 6 years old are reflected in my gymnastics to this day. So it takes a long time, is what I'm trying to say. What did I find easy or hard about Worlds? I guess I'm not sure what. I guess competing the routine is almost like that's like the easiest training day I'll have, is just doing that one routine. Obviously you don't do like a crazy conditioning circuit before you do this routine or compete. And you feel your best. You feel the most fit you've ever felt, and you've also, well, I was completely fit. I was not injured at all. So I think that was maybe one of the easiest aspects of that competition, was the fact that I wasn't injured. I was fully fit. I was fully ready, and it was an easy day. I didn't leave that competition hall tired or fatigued. I left there, of course, excited and very over the moon and happy. But it was an easy day at the office in terms of what I'd done in terms of training. But I was certainly glad that I pulled off that routine the way I did. The hard aspect of it, I guess, was the arena packed full of people. Not sure exactly how many people were there. I think it might have been about 13,000 holds is held in that M&S Bank arena. It was a packed full stadium, which is awesome. It made me very hyped to be pulling off a routine in the manner that I did, and with that amount of pressure. It was a hard year, and I wanted to make sure that I proved that I was still on top, and I certainly proved that once and for all, which is great. So I'll move on to the next question anyway. Andre has asked, I guess the chalk and strain could be pretty gnarly on your hands. So do you have a skincare routine to protect them from damages? Yeah, like definitely. So, well, I don't have a skincare routine actually. But what happens is your hands just like callus up, and because I've even had just over 2 weeks off there from training, like the calluses on my hands have started to come off. So it's just like my skin regenerating and essentially getting softer. But what you actually want, or at least what I want in gymnastics, is my hands to be quite dry and hard, because then it means that the skin doesn't peel off and really damage to the point where it's like bleeding, or the skin is fully coming off in chunks, and believe me, that happens especially on like the high bar, parallel bars. But for pommel, it just more develops calluses around your hand that makes the skin more durable and tough. And it's I'm sure it's weird when people shake my hand, but that's okay, as long as it doesn't make my hands bleed. That's fine. But no, not really much skincare routine. There's some gymnasts out there though with some gnarly hands. They have like the skin dries so much that it like splits open, and it gives them a lot of bother. But I'm luckily not one of those gymnasts, probably because of the lack of like high bar and P bars that I do. Pommel horse really doesn't strain the skin on your hands too much. But yeah, that was a good question. I guess one of those little things that's quite interesting to a lot of people, I'm sure. Gilda has asked, in Paris, the Paris World Cup, you already had a high level routine and perfect execution. Well, not quite, but what were the changes for Worlds and why? I guess nothing really changed for Worlds, and that was the plan. That we wanted to set the routine in stone. We wanted to. I'm sure you can hear that plane over my head. Um, I live right beside an airport here in Dublin, so yeah, lots of planes going over the top of my head. Anyway, yeah, the routine that I performed in Paris in qualifications and in finals was pretty much exactly what I wanted to do at Worlds, and I knew that that could be enough to win World Championships. So the fact that I had that practice in Paris with an incredible crowd, most of those World Cups do not have anywhere near that level of crowd. So it was warming me up in that aspect, performing under pressure in front of thousands of people, and then going straight into World Championships where it was more or less the same situation. I had the same job, the same routine, and I just needed to pull it off in the same way, and the result would follow. So that World Cup positioned right before World Championships worked perfectly for me. And yeah, I was so glad that I got that opportunity to perform at that World Cup, because one, it's a great event, but also two, it really did prepare me for World Championships perfectly. And yeah, thank you to Parisian guys out there. So I'll go on to Michael Barrett's question. Uh, and he's asked pretty much, are you willing to speak about the highs and lows of this year, since it's been a bit of a struggle throughout this year, I must admit. Yeah, I think that's a perfect finish to a very difficult year, and if that competition at World Championships didn't go well, I would have been an unhappy boy. It's crazy how a year that is seemingly the worst year of my gymnastics career has now turned into the best year of my gymnastics career, and that's so crazy to say. The fact that and that's the margins of gymnastics put on duty perfectly. That one competition, I pulled it off when it mattered, on the biggest stage, and it's still not an awful year. Of course, I got to the Commonwealth Games eventually after being told that we weren't going at all, so that was a triumph. And then we left Commonwealth Games. It was a messy performance, not a great routine by my standards, but we still left there with Commonwealth Games silver medal, another major medal to the collection. So the fact that I can have that messy routine and still come away with a medal, that's a position that I've always wanted to be, and I'm glad that I can do that. But there was still a hint of disappointment that I didn't defend my title, that the routine wasn't great, and that the changes that we made to the routine this year didn't really work out. And then going into the European Championships, it was the same mistake, same thing happened, and I was grateful for that mess up at Europeans, because it made me realize that this routine really wasn't working for me. That new skill that I put into the routine just really didn't work in competition, more so than in training. But even in training, it was a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. So I'm glad that it almost highlighted to me that something needed to change. So the conversation after Europeans with my coach Luke happened, and we were pretty much just like, we could just bring back the old skills pretty much, and they would just be way more solid, way more consistent, and that's such an important thing in gymnastics, just to consistently be there, consistently be in those finals, consistently hitting those great scores. And yeah, that's what we went back to, really, and it certainly paid off in Paris. So that was like the tester for going back to this old routine. Paid off in Paris, and then we were like, right, okay, well, let's do the exact same thing that I just done in Paris at the World Championships, and it worked. So it was a roller coaster of a year. It was an amazing year. That whole World Cup series that I'd done with Adam and Eamon was such a phenomenal experience. It's just one of those parts of my life that I'm never going to forget. Traveling the world with my friends, the people I love, and just doing what I love as well. That's such a phenomenal thing for me to even sit now and look back on and be like, wow, I'm so grateful to be in the position I am. But then to go through hardship, to come back and finally be on top of the world, literally world champion. I still can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. it just shows that you gotta push through those hard times, those times that you think you might not come back, you might not be at that top level anymore. You can certainly come back and prove yourself wrong, prove many other people wrong, but most importantly, prove yourself wrong if you're doubting yourself. And I certainly was doubting myself at times. I was thinking, am I going to be at this top level anymore, or is there going to be other guys that just swoop in, be more consistent, beat me all the time? But right now I'm sitting here right now, and I know my job for the future, and it's certainly to keep that consistency, and that's going to be one of the main goals for myself. And I'll go on to the next question here, really, just straight away, because it tees me up so well. Martin and Ryan, they've said some very kind words here, but the last follow-up question from them is it almost time to start focusing on Paris 2024? And yeah, of course it is. Of course it's time to start focusing on Paris. I made sure the last couple of weeks, though, when I was off on vacation, on holidays, and not training, and I even sent this message to Luke. I was just like, let's enjoy this. Before we move on to the next task, let's enjoy this moment. The moment that I became world champion, and the moment that we got our first world title for the first time. For the first time, any Irish gymnast has done that. So let's enjoy it and not move on to the next goal straight away. So that's what we done. But now that I'm back in training, it's been like a couple of days since I've been back. My body's sore. Training is going slow, but it's to be expected. And I can't help but think, what's this routine that I'm going to do in Paris going to look like? What's the routine that I'm going to qualify to Paris going to look like? What's the process? And me and Luke have already spoken in depth about that process, and it's just so exciting. I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait, because even those World Cups that I do at the start of the year, those will be back in play next year in 2023, and I'm so excited to bring you guys with me, because there's not much coverage of those World Cups. There's no real live streams, there's no televised events of those World Cups, but they're super important this time, because they're qualifiers to Worlds, which then Worlds are qualifiers to Olympics, so they're just as important as the Worlds and everything like that. So I'm excited to bring you guys with me and show you the ins and outs of those traveling competitions at the World Cups, and they're exciting to video as well. They're exciting to vlog. If you haven't checked out the ones from this year, you should go back and look at them, because they're so cool. We go to like Egypt, we go to Doha, we go to Baku. It's a lot of traveling and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm excited to record them once again. But for the last couple of questions by Larissa, I'll answer them now. Who is your pommel horse idol and inspiration? For pommel horse in particular, I think Lewis Smith has to be up there, because he handles his nerves so well. He was that consistent guy that was always in the finals, always taking those major medals, and I think that's why I look at Lewis and respect him so much, because he performed under the most difficult of stages. He performed at a home crowd in the 2012 Olympics, and I just remember even seeing that as a 12-year-old, being so impressed, because I went over there to watch the opening ceremony, and when I was in London, I saw these posters of Lewis all around London City, and I got to see how much pressure can go on an athlete's shoulders. And for Lewis to go there at that final and absolutely smash his routine, almost clinched that Olympic title. He drew scores with Christian Berkey, who won that year. It was just phenomenal to see a performance like that under that amount of pressure. And I was sitting there honestly thinking, I want to be like that one day. And if I keep this consistent performing up, I certainly will be like that. And yeah, I think Lewis is somebody who I look up to a lot in terms of that pommel resilience, and I loved his work as well. So another question by Larissa is, do you sometimes think about what you'd like to do after you retire as an athlete, or do you focus 100% on the present? No, of course I focus after retirement. You got to plan for the future as well. I mean, this year I got my coaching qualifications, so I've got a qualification now where I could actually open up my own gymnastics club, which is exciting, and it's good to get that like out of the way, so that when gymnastics does finish in the far away future, I can open up that gymnastics club, or take a new generation of gymnasts and make them Olympians, maybe an Olympic team. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds, and I'm so excited for that. But we do gotta stay in the present for now, and yeah, I mean, I'm so happy to be back training. It reminds me of why I do this, just because I love walking through those gym doors every day, and being challenged in so many ways. Sorry for the my light is actually like the sun coming through the window, and it's getting dark now, so my face is like going darker and darker, but that doesn't matter, especially if you're just listening on audio, which probably many of you guys are. But I'm excited. I'm so excited for what is next, and training is going so well. In terms of like getting back, my body is so sore. It's been 2 days, and I'm so sore. I'm waking up every day like doing like a little bit of a stretch, just to like keep my body moving, because I can feel my muscles tightening up around everywhere. But it's good to be back. It's good to be. I mean, it's just good to be a world champion. Really, it's just a lifelong dream come true, and listen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little podcast. I know it's not like crazy long, but I just thought I'd expand a little bit more on my thoughts and feelings behind Worlds, and they're all good. They're all positive thoughts and feelings, which is very nice. But if you haven't joined the Patreon already, I would recommend, so that you can get some questions in. If you've enjoyed this podcast style of video, let me know in the comments. I'll certainly take your guys' word, and if you enjoy it, I'll certainly do more in the future. But I hope everyone has a great day. I'm gonna go and have a bit of a nap now, because I've just finished training and I'm tired, and I need that recovery. But I hope everyone has a great day. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.